Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. So in this video here today, we're going to go over how to stabilize Intel 13th and 14th gen CPUs. This is basically for their like 13900Ks and up. So 13900K, KF, and KS, or your 14900K, KF, or KS CPUs. We'll be going through a few things about the voltages, what you should be setting for gaming, and enabling XMP and a little bit of RAM timings just to help stabilize things. Just in case you don't have either the best CPU, the best RAM kit, or even the best motherboard. A lot of things do depend on for DDR5, and there's a lot of things that can make DDR5 unstable as well. It might not just be your CPU, it could be also your RAM. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for the video. Hit that notification bell for the newest videos and latest live streams. And again, thank you to all my viewers, subscribers, and donors. You guys are helping out this channel greatly. So let's get right into it. Hopefully you can hear me just fine. Put in my really long password. I'm going to open up hardware monitor here. Let's continue. There we go. So here's all the cores going. This is stock. This is stock settings. I just want to show the voltages that are being used. So the vid max, as you can see, it's very high. This is not needed to run at all. It does not need to go this high. Okay, CPU V core is what the CPU is actually getting. This is the actual voltages that the CPU is getting. The vid is requested, and it's not good. Okay, so we'll leave that open, and what I'm going to do is open up Marvel Rivals here. We can even just watch the vid go up. So the V core here in the vid. So right now it's hitting like 1.5 volts on some, almost 1.5, which is insane. It's actually insane to see 1.5 volts. It should not need that. No CPU really needs that to be stable. And sometimes having, again, too much voltages makes things unstable. So just gonna go back into the BIOS and let's go over a couple things that we need to know about overclocking, what certain things are needed to help stability. So we're gonna go, instead of easy mode, see how it's easy mode. We don't care about easy mode. Intel default settings, it says extreme. It's not that extreme. This is again all on stock. What we're gonna do instead of having extreme performance is disabled. Okay, we're gonna disable it. It's gonna say use of unlocked features or alteration of clock frequency of voltage may void any product warranties and reduce stability, performance, security, performance, and life of processor and other components. Proceed further. Okay. With like a 14th gen, it has AI built into it, so it could void warranty, I guess. But you're gonna save your CPU from degrading if you do this, as in lowering the voltage. Okay, CPU upgrade. What we're gonna do is put the gaming profile. Okay, gaming profile. What that does, send it to gaming profile, is it disables the E cores. Something we don't need. We don't need the E cores while we're gaming. So we're gonna go gaming mode, and we're just gonna do this. And what we can do as well is XMP. So we can go XMP1, puts this 7200 mega transfers per second. All right, it's fairly simple there. It's all XMP timings. It's not great, but it does give you the 7200 mega transfers per second at least. Or for some people, it might be lower, but the timings are not great in my opinion. So it's 7200 CL36 at 1.4 volts. Not the greatest in my opinion, but it's fairly simple to do here. So again, Intel default settings, we're going to disabled. CPU upgrade, go gaming profile. Or if you're not on Gigabyte or other boards that might have the CPU upgrade, what you can just automatically do is disable the E-cores. That's what gaming mode is, all right? That's all we have to do right now. That's all we're going to do right now. As you can see, nothing else has been changed. We can save and exit. We can go back into Windows, go back in and check the voltages before we load up, then while we're loading, and the voltages are still going to be quite high, a lot higher than what we need. Just enable the XMP, get your XMP speeds, and you're good to go. So I'm going to put in my long password again. We're going to open up hardware monitor. Again, I use other things than just hardware monitor, like HWINFO. Hardware monitor, it just shows, in my opinion, a little bit easier for people. So as you can see, we're just on P cores, 5.5 gigahertz. Voltage requested, so vid right here is 1.38, and it's getting 1.368. So we'll minimize that. Get Steam back open here. And it's probably going to start going up here just by loading this. So we're already at 1.4 now, being requested. It's a lot higher than what we need. We don't even need it to be that high. The system agent voltage is also pretty high. We can lower the system agent voltage, which is correlated to the RAM. Doesn't need to be 1.3. It could be 1.2 or 1.25, just fine. So, but we'll do this. We'll do this for now. We're just going through the steps here. Open Marvel Rivals again. Yes, and this takes forever. Again, part of the process. So again, we'll open up Cinebench R23 here. I was showing before that on stock settings, even though I had it still on gaming mode. Oh, you're playing Monster Hunter. Hopefully that's going good. I was showing before, even though it was on stock settings on 8 performance cores, it was requesting too much, or the CPU was getting too much voltages, and it was making it crash. This is overclock 5.6 gigahertz all core, and well, less voltage, and doesn't crash. Not on Cinebench, not on Y Cruncher, not even in gaming. Again, that could be motherboard issue. There are different motherboards will have different voltages. A Zeus, or what I like to call them, a SUS, it's one of the worst ones for it. So here we go. Again, the same thing. Minimum 1.356 or value, the normal. Minimum 1.332. Max is 1.368. The vid is what is requesting. So requesting, it could even go higher than this, but it's only going to hit 1.365 or plus or minus 10 or 15, depending. I have at 1.365 volts. Fixed V-core seem to be the best. There we go. Multiple runs, Cinebench, stable when before wasn't even stable. System agent, I lowered the system agent On stock, it was 1.325 volts. I lowered it to 1.25, plus or minus, of course. So 1.275 volts is what is what it's at. I would like to show in-game again, but I'm pretty sure it'll just be all weird. We'll do... Let's do a Y cruncher just to show it works. It's normal, run. Now Y cruncher is a rough one. One of the roughest tests to be running is Y cruncher. There we go. Pass, 24 seconds. Not very fast. Not my fastest. You need to do more RAM overclock and have really good timings for it. Again, same voltages though. 1.368 is the max. Standard 1.356. Passed. Now if we go here, we save result. Temperatures could be 25 to 95 degrees Celsius, which is quite hot, but within its limits. Again, nice and stable. The one thing a lot of people don't look at is the vid request and then the actual CPU vCore. Vid max is request. What CPU vCore is getting is what it's actually getting. And also system agent. System agent voltage being too high can also cause issues. So lowering it down is a good option as well. But yeah, 95 degrees Celsius. 5.6 gigahertz. Boom. Restart. Another thing you should be doing too is memory reference clock. Just put to 100. Gear mode 2. Memory boot. Disable fast boot, especially on the first time doing any kind of RAM. So XMP should always do disable fast boot. Next time you boot up, you can just you can put it back to normal, or even put it to enable fast boot. Disabling fast boot allows it to go through the timings. The motherboard can go through all the timings and make sure they're set proper. Memory enhanced settings for gigabyte boards. RDEQ mode 1 is the best for stability for RAM. So if I'm doing RAM overclocking, so let's say we're doing cache latency of 32, let's just do cache latency of 30. Allow it to do whatever it wants here. TRFC 2 and TRFC PB. So TRFC 2 is the actual like refresh rate and refresh rate per bank, right? So refresh rate per bank, because there's simplify it, per bank refresh rate. And we'll just do a refresh rate of, let's say, 700, and per bank we'll say 600. All right. TFA, this is Hynix M die, so depending on the ICs you have, Hynix A die, M die, Micron, it's all different. All right. So these two here for me, I can do 16, 16. because I have Hynix M die. TREFI and TREFI X9 are some other timings we'll look at later on. Now, these timings down here can be really good for performance gains. Like your read reads, read writes, write to reads. There's a lot of them to go through. And these can help as well. But that'll be later on. It's more advanced and it's a lot of going through because depending on your CPU, depending on your motherboard, depending on the RAM kit you got, whether or not it's good bin RAM chips, all these can be a lot different. We'll do that. CL30 right now, saying 200 megatransfer per second. CL30 is Might need to raise the VCCSA or your system agent voltage might need to be raised to get a lower cast latency. So 1.3 volts, generally max what you want to use is 1.3 volts. But yeah, for the voltage for the RAM itself, so VDD AO voltage and VDD Q voltage. Okay, so that's for your RAM, like the actual RAM voltages. System agent is from your CPU to RAM. It's your CPU voltage for your RAM. And we can go through some of these like over voltage and CPU VRM settings as well, which is like your load line, vCore protection, VOG protection, CPU vCore current protection. But more or less it's your vCore load line that you want to worry about. And generally for 13th and 14th gen CPUs, it does not like a like ultra extreme, which puts it to like it has to be at this voltage at all times. It likes to have a droopy, so a high. It likes to have a droopy voltage. But we'll just leave it to normal for now. There's just a lot to... It can be very finicky. 13th and 14th gens can be very finicky with it. Yeah, I'm on 13900K right now. But we're going to do CL30. 1.3 volts for system agent voltage. And we're going to keep the actual RAM voltage the same, 1.4 volts. I'll say 1.41 volts, but it's at 1.4 volts. So we'll do that. Since I disabled fast boot, it's going to take 30 seconds, a minute, maybe 2 minutes to load up because it's going to run through all the timings and allow everything to be good for this motherboard, basically. So again, Intel default settings disabled, CPU upgrade gaming profile just sets it to performance cores, overclock to 5.6 gigahertz. I can do 5.8 gigahertz, but there's no need. There's not much of a difference from 5.6 to 5.8 while gaming to see the frames. You might gain 5 or 6 frames, or maybe 10 frames, depending on the game, but 5.6 seems to be just fine. I don't need to do anything else besides that. All core 5.6 gigahertz. So again, we'll go in here and I do enable speed shift. Hyperthreading technology is technically enabled. Bring the core offset. We don't need to worry about any of these for gaming and that at least. Frequency TVB, again, core sync. So we're syncing all the cores to 5.6 gigahertz. Enhanced TVP doesn't really matter. You can enable it. I do believe it enables it on default anyways, but voltage reduction TVP, you can enable that or disable it. That doesn't really matter. It's not going to help the stability at all. So OC mode here, I generally do put it to elevated, but it's not needed for gaming, so it's not, I don't use it. So random mode, even though P cores, E cores is disabled. So just say 0 just to show that they are disabled, but it is disabled. AVX settings, you can go user defined, AVX enabled, AVX offset, we're going to go 0. AVX optimum, we're going to go enabled. AVX voltage guard band scale factor, 1. Fairly simple for AVX settings. And just allows it so that way if it does use the AVX, it doesn't lower your core frequency basically. It will run very hot if you are running AVX 512 though. It will run very hot. And active turbo ratios, if you say manual, and you'll see all these, but we'll just leave it to auto because it is at 5.6 gigahertz all core overclock just by doing what I showed up above with the frequency TVB, and also set it to 5.6 gigahertz. C state control, you can enable if you want, but just put in auto does it anyway, so just do that. Turbo power limits, you can go Intel Poor, enabled, whatever you want, and you can technically put the max it out so that way it doesn't have a limit. But we'll just go auto. Okay, fairly simple there. Again, 5.6 gigahertz, 7200 megatransfers per second. This is at CL38. Just a guaranteed stability, especially when summer comes around. You want a higher cast latency. And volt's still the same, but just raising up the cast latency a little bit will help stabilize things. And that's also for TRFC and TRFC PB and your TREFI. Okay, so go here, show that. So this right here is going to be CL38. Your TRC PB, TRC2, which is TRC refresh rate, will be around, I think it's 760 on this kit. So it won't be this. So I'll just go save and exit on this, go back into BIOS just to show. Having those to a higher number, so 700, 800, 900, 1000, will help stability as temperature rises as well. A lot of people will have trouble in the X9, I mean, is actually set at. So we'll go here, memory channels. So we're on the right side, so here, it's what the timings are actually at. So for both sides, so both sticks. So CL38, 48, 48, 128. We can technically lower these ones a bit, but it's stable. XMP, fairly simple to do. So if we can go down, so TCWL, cache write latency, is a game changer. It will give good performance if you can lower it, but generally lower than that goes on with your cache latency. So if I lower the cache latency, we can lower this by about 4 ticks lower than the actual cache latency. So this is CL, it says 36 on cache write latency, and our actual cache latency here is CL38. We can technically lower this down to 34, and it'll be just fine without changing the voltages. Now, what I was talking about before is the TRFC2 and TRFC PB, TRFC and TRFC PB. So refresh rate and refresh rate per bank. So refresh rate, so TRFC2, some boards are TRFC4, I believe, or just TRFC. That's what you're going to look at. And we are at 834 on this booster XMP. So it's supposed to be for 7,600 megatransfers per second, but I have it at 7,200, and it's saying 834, and per bank is 721. The higher these two numbers are, the better they're going to be for higher temperatures for stability. Okay. So technically we can lower these a bit and it will be stable because the temperatures are just fine. But as summer comes and a lot of people don't have AC, raising these up just 100 will be just fine. These do help, not really games that much for frames, but for productivity, then yeah, lower in these are better. Now we're going to go down to the TREFI and TREFI-X9. So what I like to do is just max those out. So it'll be 255, 262, 149. Okay, so I max those out. That helps stability as well. Another one for stability would be your T-mod. Your T-mod raising the T-mod. Some kits are really low T-mods, and that will cause instability depending on your motherboard and CPU. If you don't have a good CPU for your RAM, if it doesn't have a good MC, then T-mod raising it up will help this stability as well. So we can just go, instead of being at 56, we'll say 60. All right, T-mod 60, and that'll help stability quite a bit. Again, we'll get to your read to reads and read to writes and your write to writes and write to reads later on. They're game changers. They can help performance quite a bit. You're not really going to notice it that much in games, but for like productivity and other things, then yes, it will be a game changer. But for gaming and that, it's not much of a game changer. The game changer for games is going to be not your cast latency, but your cache write latency will be a game changer for some frames. Your TRC2 and TRC PB, or your TRC, your refresh rate and your refresh rate per bank will be a bit of game changers. But as temperatures goes up, you're not going to see a whole lot of downgrade from frames if you have to raise it for stability. You're not going to see a whole lot. Again, I can do 16 and I can do 16. This is Hynix M die, so we can do 16 for your your RTP and your TFA. Okay, that's what I like to see for Hynix M die. Your TREFI and TREFI-X9, just for stability and gaming wise. You can crank it up, or what you can do is crank it up all the way to whatever your motherboard says. Generally, it is 260,143 and 255 for DDR5. What you can do is divide this number by 4, and then same thing for that, and that will help stability as well, especially as temperature goes up. But we'll do that. Go back. Again, 7200 mega transfers per second. We'll go 1.365 because that's all it really needs. And then VCCSA, instead of being 1.36 or 1.35 volts it was giving me, we do 1.25 volts, and that's just fine. Sometimes the motherboard wants more voltages for certain things because it seems like it'll be more stable. Lowering voltage is just fine. Unless you're going for crazy numbers, crazy frequencies for your RAM or CPU, then you're going to need more voltages. But an overclock of just plus 100 megahertz on all core. So instead of being 5.5 gigahertz all core, 5.6 slight overclock with 1.365 volts, lowering the voltages. It's more stable for 13th and 14th gen CPUs. Lowering the voltages. You can see, you can try it out yourself. And then we'll just say 1.4 volts as well. This will be all stable. So this will be nice and stable. This is not the actual timings. So we change the timings a bit. We'll just save exit, and we'll show in Cinebench it's all stable. We can show in Y-Cruncher. Y-Crunchers are very, very stressful for CPU and RAM. So I'll show that stable in that as well. What I was showing in the beginning of this stream was that while trying to game, it's very laggy on my stream because my stream PC is very old. It doesn't seem to like to run Marvel Rivals or record or stream Marvel Rivals while I'm doing it. So we just won't. So we're back up, booted back up. Just got to reset it and everything will be good. If anyone has questions, just let me know. If you want, I can show you some of the competition overclocks that I have. It's not recommended for the voltages that I'm using for the competition voltages, but I will show it. Like 7200 CL28. Cast write latency of 12. Like very, very low. Such a game changer. Gives such good performance. Also, my read and writes were really good too. Yeah, that's for another time though. Those timings are tricky to play around with. We're just trying to show for people for gaming right now is boom. Request voltages, boom, but it's only going to go to 1.365 or 1.7 volts, roughly. It's plus or minus a little bit. Nothing's perfect in this world. So we'll go here again to Cinebench. I was showing before it was unstable, would even pass multiple runs. Now we can pass multiple runs with an overclock. Lowering the voltage. Set it to a fixed V-core instead of it being whatever it wants it, the motherboard to do. Again, one of the worst motherboards for giving too much voltages is Asus. They're one of the issues with the CPUs for instability, crashing, and degrading your CPU was Asus. I love Asus, but that's what happened. So here, again, 1.356 volts is all it's going to. Request voltages right here. So it's requesting 1.423 volts for the max, but it's only allowing 1.356 volts. Temperature, 92 degrees Celsius. Again, this is all core 5.6 gigahertz. So, gonna be quite warm, but not terrible. Then we can go and run it again. And then we'll do a Y cruncher. Y cruncher is even worse for temperature. Might even hit 100 C. It is about 21 degrees Celsius in here. And you'll see other YouTubers and that showing way more voltages to get stable, which you don't need. There we go. Almost 23,000 points again. Max voltage 1.356 volts. Stock settings was over 1.4 volts, or while gaming it's 1.515, 1.53 volts, which is crazy. And it crashes because of that. That's part of the issue with crashing is too much voltages. Too much. Sometimes it's just too much voltage. We'll go Y cruncher real time, which is brutal. We'll run. And it should still be the same thing. So temperature, as you can see, hit 97 degrees Celsius because this test is absolutely brutal. Brutal. Uses your CPU to the max and RAM to the max. Boom. Done. Hippity hoppity. And we lowered the score a bit because of the timings that I put in. Now, nothing crazy. I didn't change the timings to a crazy amount, but 1.356 volts. 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 We did lose 30 seconds, so awesome. There you go. Same thing. Voltages are just fine. Temperature again it's quite hot. It is Twi Cruncher. You won't see these kind of temperatures in game. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully this helps stabilize your Intel 13th and 14th gen CPUs and or RAM itself, as again, that could be an issue as well. A lot of YouTubers that I've found have always put an offset and or have cranked the voltages to allow stability in games and or just stability overall. I have found putting a fixed V core and lowering the voltages and just setting to AP cores while gaming gives me the best performance anyways, and stability is actually amazing. I can live stream, record at 4K and game at the same time and have zero crashes with this method that I have found. So I hope this video actually helps you out quite a bit. Let me know in the comment section below if you've tried this and it works for you. The voltages might be a little bit different for your CPU. All you need to do is just maybe raise it up plus or minus 10 or 20. As long as you're comfortable with doing that and keeping the temperatures well within 95 degrees Celsius. And what I like to see while gaming is right around 65 degrees Celsius, maybe 7 degrees Celsius at the max. Again, thank you all for watching. Again, thank you to all my viewers, subscribers, and donators. You guys are helping out this channel greatly, and we're just going to continue to grow. If you're not part of the Discord channel, click the Discord link in the description. If you're not a Patreon member yet, you should definitely check out the Patreon page as well. I have not updated in a while, but I will start updating it as much as possible for my new Patreon subscribers. I do have a donation page if you want to click on the donation and donate. Anything does help out this channel. And that's it for this video. Again, I really hope this video helps you. A lot of people are liking my overclocking for stability videos, and I just wanted to put out another video for people to actually understand a few things about CPUs and about what's in the motherboard you should be looking at to change up and maybe get a little bit more performance. So again, thank you all for watching, and as always, don't forget to get her done.